Alright, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled Why the Hood is a Gold Mine. People don't think about it or talk about it as much as how much the money the hood generates for other people. Now, to call the hood a poor environment, I get it. But if it's such a poor environment, how come everybody comes into these poor neighborhoods to set up businesses? Because they make a lot of money in those neighborhoods. First and foremost, they're a gold mine for businesses because they're a food desert. You know, people forget, like, you think about the hood, you don't think about grocery store. You know, you think about the hood, you don't think about Walmart, Target, mall. You get what I'm saying? So, because it's a food desert, you get all these like hood, fast food type of restaurants where the food is cheaper. You can get a lot for your money at times. But the quality of the food is normally not so good. It's normally terrible. Like you might be getting low grade meat or old meat or old whatever. Like the nutritional value of the food that you're gonna get at these spots is gonna be horrible. You know, not to mention the disrespect of how you're probably gonna be treated and how they actually treat the food because they serving it to you. But it's a gold mine because people are hungry, right? And where else they gonna go? You go to those corner stores, get you some snacks, and you never think about how marked up those snacks are. You know, those quarter honey buns that they paid a quarter for a piece, they selling to you for $1, $1.50, $1.99. You know what I mean? It's like when you used to go to the, if anybody goes to the airport and they used to have the packs of gum, the double mint and big red. Back in the day, it used to be 25 cents, and then they moved them up to 30. It might be 35 now. I haven't seen one in a while. But the price was in a little circle on the sticks of gum. But if you went to the airport, if it was 30 cents on a thing, you'd be paying $1 for it. That's why the hood is a gold mine, because stuff like that happens all the time. You know, people will go to Sam's Club and buy the chips that you're not supposed to sell for redistribution, and then they buy them, and then they go in their store and they sell them to you for 35, 50 cents a bag, and they this freaking big. Like, that's why it's a gold mine, because you get to mark up everything, and nobody's really gonna come check because it's the hood, right? And people are gonna pay, and even though you're overcharging people for small items, those nickel and dimes add up, because the profit you're making on all of these small items is 2, 3, 4 fold, right? People buying, t-shirts and hats and all kinds of crap because it's the hood. It's marked up. People don't think about it as a gold mine for people who got cigarette habits. They used to have that jar full of Lucy's. If y'all know what Lucy's is, loose cigarettes. That's the same thing that they talking about Eric Garner got killed for. They'll be selling cigarettes for a quarter or 50 cents a piece. So you can't stand outside of the store and sell cigarettes if you're a regular person. But inside you can have a fish bowl full of cigarettes that you just giving to people. And think about how much a box is and how much a person is charging per cigarette. You get what I'm saying? And people are coming in with their habits. They just want one or two. And, a box might be $3, but they didn't pay $1 for 4. Or, $1.20 for 4. You get what I'm saying? Like, that type of stuff. So, it's a gold mine in a sense. I remember gas stations. I it used to crack me up because the gas stations, like in the suburbs where I'm at, if I know to get gas where I'm at. Like if I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna get gas in my area. Because if I drive to the hood, 9 times out of 10, if I'm paying, say right now it's around $235, $240. If I go to the hood, that shit gonna be $260, $270. So it's a gold mine because you keep people in poverty because you nickel and dime them out of everything and they can't go anywhere, right? You know, it costs them to go places and do things. It's also a gold mine sometimes because depending on how old the homes are, they can get charged up the ass in electricity or gas because those homes are not necessarily energy star efficient or energy efficient for nowadays because they're older type of homes. So their bills are going to be high at times. Sometimes not. Depends on the size of the house. But it's a gold mine. Same thing with the water bills. Like I've seen people do people dirty with these water bills, like real dirty. But that's why it's a gold mine. Another thing. A lot of times the hood is a gold mine because people use the Little League as a farm system to find good high school talent to bring to their schools so they can have a couple of good stars on their team, saying that they're doing the family a favor. But in essence, your child is selling out stadiums for high schools, you know, at $5, $10, $20, $25 a pop. You know, going from football season to basketball season. It depends on where you at, you know, not so much baseball because they murdered our baseball leagues for Little League when I was back in Chicago. They did that. But, you know, same thing with track, you know, because people are into it. So, but more so the money makers are football and basketball. Baseball doesn't get as much attention as it used to. But you see, like where I'm at, I see they literally they really have a high school stadium and built a brand new high school stadium next to the high school stadium. Now I'm talking about 2 stadiums that probably house 10,000 people next to each other. I don't even know why they're next to each other. But that's the thing, right? So it's a gold mine because I'm gonna do you. We're gonna take your son out of this bad neighborhood. We're gonna move you to this neighborhood. You're gonna come get a better education, and they did not tell you. You know, your child is basically getting pimped while you saying you giving them a better look, right? And in some ways that drains your school and your neighborhood because your school, if they keep taking the talent from your area, it drains your school having a good team that generates ticket sales that can go back into the school to rebuild things. So that's why the hood is a gold mine for other people. You know, same thing with the hair care stuff for the ladies. It's a gold mine because, you know, they charging y'all up the wazoo and y'all keep falling for it because of insecurities and stuff like that. We can't, you know, the hair thing, you know, just can't get by that, right? Like you can't find a lot of times you can't find a black beauty shop because a lot of times those if they start a beauty store, the distributor's gonna freeze them out, or they're gonna if they can't freeze them out, they're gonna make it so difficult in the beginning for them that it's an issue. Now I know where I'm at, like in Houston, they actually have like a weave spot owned by black people, and they was making a killing. I don't know if they still doing it right now. They probably still are because this girl's still wearing weaves. They was making a killing. But you know, it starves them out, and plus you got to think about the cost. Like, it's a gold mine in the hood because of the cost of doing business and living. Like, you don't you can basically have a bare bones skeleton store that you don't really clean or do things properly in, and you in a spot that might have cost you $800 to rent, and everything is old in it, but you basically making $1,000 a day. You know, selling any and everything, and plus, you know, in our neighborhoods, they're feeding to everything that's lacking. If you got a weed habit, or they got all the blunts, they got all the pipes. If you got a crack habit, they will sell you pipes. Literally. You know what I'm saying? So, and at the same time, they get to treat, you know, it's a catch-22, because they'll treat you, your children badly, knowing that you might not have anywhere else to go. Even though you, and you know, when you're in the hood, sometimes you don't have the necessarily choice to get up and go to another establishment, because where you at, you kind of confined to your little neighborhood, right? You don't have that wealth of options. So that's another reason, because if you don't have any, there's the hood really lacks competition as far as a business is concerned. So that makes, you know, businesses in the hood a gold mine. And sometimes, you know, it also feeds into the narrative, even when black people start businesses in some of the hoods, that the white or non-black ice is always colder. People are just frequent a spot because somebody who's not black is running it, and just give them their money and get disrespected regardless, just for that I can spend my money anywhere ideology, right? Which just puts money in other people's pockets. Because, and well, before I go, this other thing that's part of it too is that these people don't hire you. They don't. For the most part, they won't hire you. They won't hire your kids. And they won't sell to you. So that's what also makes it a gold mine, because they're not really necessarily paying wages to people per se. It's like family-owned businesses or hookup situations like that. Plus, you know, y'all forget some of these businesses sell drugs and guns. That's just what it is. So, you know, they're a gold mine because they can do it legally, and they could be in the back afterwards illegally. So it is what it is. So I just thought about that. So we out.